Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, December 29th. College football playoff, bowl season, meaningless bowl season, meaningful bowls, bad basketball. It's been a good week. Good weekend.
For bad basketball?
Yeah,
it was definitely a good week for some bad basketball.
It was. Thankfully, the college football playoff was good, so we were able to keep our mind off. Imagine. The LSU Oklahoma game obviously wasn't good, but it was kind of fun to see Oklahoma get beat that bad.
Right.
So, kind of equals out. I guess, if that Clemson OSU game wasn't close, we might have been thinking about the basketball game more.
Yeah, it definitely, it was a distraction for the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I had a long Friday night, so when we got home Saturday, I took a nap and overslept. Woke up, we were down 15. Watched about 10.
Oof.
Watched about 4 minutes of live action. We were terrible. I was tired. I went back to sleep. I'll be honest. I think I made the right decision too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I made the right decision.
That's definitely one of those games. It was like when Neil and Mafia was talking about innie into an out or outie into an innie.
Those will do it to you.
That one.
Very easily.
Yes.
I did take a wonderful nap. One of the best naps of my life. So thank you, I guess, for encouraging me to go back to sleep.
Nice.
Tennessee. Yeah. Well, guys, we got a good show for you. We are going to talk about the Wisconsin game and that ugly loss. We're also going to do an all-decade team. I don't know if I've seen anybody else do this.
So 247 did
247 did one? Okay. I hadn't seen it tweeted out or anything. Thought it'd be fun. Regardless, it'll be fun for us to do. We are going to talk about the Tennessee football all-decade team. We're going to have Aaron Hayden on for the show. We're really going to have him on to talk not so much about him and his time at UT, but about high school football and high school football specifically in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Memphis, which he is very familiar with. If you are interested, we've done an interview with Aaron Hayden and talked about that. I'll pull up that podcast and tweet it out tomorrow along with this one. But then we've got a college football recap. We are going to talk about all the bowl games and college football playoff games, and then our segments. Before we get into this episode, Landon's got some friends to tell you guys about.
That's our friends at Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank, and they're a leading financial institution with the services, capabilities, and resources of regional and national banks. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning your next vacation, Commercial Bank is with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Life made better. Visit cbtn.com to learn more and find a branch near you. Again, that's CBTN. Find a branch near you. Any financial needs you may need, go check out Commercial Bank.
The Titans going to pull this one out? They should, right?
Well, they just missed.
Oh, they made that. I think he snuck that one in there.
Snuck it in. I don't know. What's the score?
21 to 7 now.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first drive of the second half.
Well, so the Titans, I think they will play.
They'll play in Foxborough if they win.
They'll play the Patriots, yeah. Because they lost to the Dolphins.
Dude, every year. I guess we should have assumed because they had beaten Miami already once. Mm-hmm. So you have to assume this loss was coming.
Right.
It's guaranteed. It'd be nice to see the Titans pull it out. It'd be nice to see the Titans pull it out and then somehow magically go beat New England. I don't think it'll happen.
I would never want to tackle Derrick Henry in that cold weather.
I wouldn't want to tackle him, period. Then you add in the cold weather. I'm like, I'm out. I'm good.
No, I'm good. I'm running the opposite direction.
Yeah, exactly. Let's jump into this Wisconsin game, I guess. Very, very ugly loss. Wisconsin's not a very good team. 7-5. 6-5 coming into the game. And you knew it was going to be difficult for many reasons, and the biggest one of those being Lamonte Turner having his first. This is the first game he'll sit out this season, but there's several more left. Obviously, he won't be playing the rest of the season. 68-48. They shouldn't be 20 points better than you. That's for sure.
No, I mean, this was truly one of the worst basketball games I have ever seen Tennessee play. It's sad. One of the worst.
I don't know if the reaction, if there's an overreaction on Twitter and all that, but a lot of people were comparing it to the Donnie Tyndall, some Donnie Tyndall games.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that was a tough year to watch for many. I mean, not only are you losing, but it was also very ugly basketball.
And it's really hard for, I think, Tennessee fans right now because you have 4 guys that would probably beat our starting 5 not dressed out.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they were healthy, because Lamonte and then
Victor Bailey.
Victor Bailey's transferred, right? Yeah. That's okay.
And then Uros.
So we've got one guy who will be eligible soon. Whether he plays or not, to be determined, but he will be eligible to play in Santiago Vescovi. And then 2 guys who transferred who are ineligible in Lamonte Turner. And yeah, if they're healthy, I'd say they'd give that
our starting 5 a run. Yeah,
absolutely. For sure.
Especially the way we're shooting right now. I mean, Bowden 1 for 8 from 3-point, 2 for 13 from the field. You're not going to win any basketball games when that's your best shooter is shooting like that.
And now your go-to guy.
Yeah, and it's not like this is just one game. Like he's been it consistently for the past 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and then you look at Fulkerson, 3 for 3. I mean, obviously, when you're 100%, you can't complain. But he's going to be asked to do a lot more now. If you want to win basketball games, guys like John Fulkerson, guys like Yves Pons, guys like Josiah Jordan-James, going to have to score a lot every game.
How do you score? How do you play 25 minutes, shoot the ball 3 times, make all 3, and that's all?
And then you don't shoot. It. You've got to do more. You've got to at least, like you said, try to score. The fact that you only shot 3 times, you're not going to win ball games doing that.
No,
it's not going to happen. Not when you're going to be a guy that we look to now to step up.
And Jalen Johnson, I thought he played well yesterday, but he came in and didn't play particularly well in the first half. But the second half he did, and he scored 9 points in that second half. And that was tied for our leading scorer.
Yeah.
And if you're relying on a guy to come he was probably the last guy, I think besides Pember, he was the last guy off the bench. So that guy to just come in and score 9 points and no one else, all of your starters aren't scoring that. Like, you're not going to win any ball games doing that.
No, and I don't know what you can do with this team right now with how poorly we're shooting. That's a big issue. And it doesn't help. I mean, how many would you say are aggressive ball players in the starting lineup?
I would say,
or on the team. I
would say none. No one on the team is willing to go to the basket. I would say the most aggressive person would be Devontae Gaines, and I think he's the weakest one on the court.
He doesn't have.
But as a team, we are physically weak. Physically weak.
We don't have the Devontae Gaines. I think you mentioned his willingness to go to the hole. I think he can be an impactful player a year or 2 from now.
Yeah.
Not right now. He doesn't have the skill set to do it yet. He has the mindset, I think.
Right.
But he doesn't have the skill set.
And we're talking about a kid who last year he doesn't see the court.
Right.
But this year he started he started yesterday.
Right. And that's he's probably going to be the starter. I imagine it's LSU. Maybe something changes after a 20-point loss to a Wisconsin team. But, I mean, the good news for this team is the SEC is very underwhelming.
Yeah.
That's the good news. Because, if we have the SEC schedule that we had last year, I don't know if this team's going 500.
No.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
Now, this year, you have a chance to be in the NIT. Because I don't see I don't see what changes and what gets better. We talked about how Santiago Vescovi, if he does play, he's 17 years old.
Yeah.
17 years old.
Somebody told me he is 18. So
he's turned 18? Okay.
So he is 18.
All right.
The 2 sides had it differently, but yeah, he is 18.
So an 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the first time he looks older, I'll give him that. He doesn't have the young body type like Pember. You can tell Drew Pember is 18.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he's matured a little bit.
He got some hair on his face.
Yeah, I was hoping we discovered like a 23-year-old in a foreign country.
Yeah,
that's what I was hoping.
The I am 12.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that obviously isn't the case. I don't know how this gets better. You're gonna need Kumwa to step up. I think if we can get some bigs playing better, hopefully that'll maybe take something off Bowden, free Bowden up a little bit. I imagine they keyed on Bowden yesterday. Again, I didn't get to watch much. I'm just imagining. Because who else do you have to key on to stop shooting well? Everybody else is going to probably shoot poorly on their own.
I mean, there was open shots. I mean, I don't want to say that they just covered us up. I mean, I thought they played decent defense, but we had open shots. I mean, we just couldn't knock anything down. And then we refused, when we didn't hit shots, and we refused to go to the hole. So, and then we left guys open. They had a guy off the bench score, like, how many threes did he have? he had 4. I thought he had more than that. He had 17 points off the bench. And he wasn't even a guy that, we were talking about on previously that he was even a factor.
Right.
So, I mean, they just left guys open. They over pursued. I feel like they do that a lot.
I feel like that's that is a weakness of ours, is the over pursue, the over commit, the over help defense. We leave guys wide open. We wonder why we have so many teams that shoot lights out against us. It's not, at first you think, because it's hard to complain about help defense. Like, how do you complain about it? I guess here's how you do it, because it seemed at times we're playing good defense and they're just finding that right pass, but every team's finding that final pass. So it's something we're doing. It's not every team comes into Thompson-Boling Arena and does it.
One thing we do, we fall for every shot fake known to man. Every single one.
East Pons can't go a possession without looking for a block.
Yep. Did he have any yesterday?
Yeah.
He had
one.
Yeah.
I mean, you love the shot block. You love the thought process of, like, on an offensive board of him going up and getting a putback. But the fact that he only has 3 rebounds and he should be one of the biggest forces around the rim, 3 rebounds is not a force.
No. Fulkerson had 3 rebounds.
Do what now?
Fulkerson just had 3 rebounds.
And somehow we out-rebounded him. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Somehow we out-rebounded him.
Well, I mean,
It just shows how well they shot, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that truthfully.
And we were just breaking them off the rim or airballing or... Yeah. Oh, my God. It was just terrible. It was just so hard to watch because you knew, like, every time that we got the ball, we weren't going to score. And they're going to come down and they would just increase the lead, hit a 3, increase the lead. And we couldn't answer. And that's what's really hard to watch. You watch the first half and you're like, okay, we go down and score, and then we give up a layup as time expired.
Right.
And so you come back down 14. You're hoping you can get some points, get back in the game, and we didn't score for the first 6 minutes and 24 seconds of the second half. We didn't have a field goal till like the 12-minute mark. So, I mean, you're down 14, and then you don't have any kind of effort to score.
I mean, it's got to be on. I mean, when you look at the box score, you got to put it on what the starting lineup is now.
Yeah.
You had a lot of your production though came from your bench. 16 rebounds and 17 points from your bench.
Yeah, I mean, what? And those are, Jalen Johnson hasn't played a lot since he's been here, and then you have 2 freshmen.
And Kumal's been kind of progressing each game slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Pember, just kind of going to be what it is with Pember. I mean, it's wild to me that he's in front of some of the guys he's in front of. I'm surprised. But, I mean, we can't expect him. How many do you have against Memphis? 6 points, 7 points?
Who?
Pember?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a lot. Asking a lot of him. I don't think that's going to be a consistent production from him every game.
Yeah.
So you can't expect that. I mean, I'm surprised he's playing a lot.
8 scholarship players. That's all we have. And a lot of people want to kind of blame it on recruiting. I think there was, maybe recruiting is part of it, but I think a lot of it is just unfortunate losses. You didn't think Jordan Bone was probably going to go to the NBA. You didn't know Grant Williams was going to be as high rated player as he was.
I mean, yeah, I'm still kind of shocked. I mean, he got paid, or he's getting paid decent because he's on that 2-way contract.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm still surprised that Jordan Bone went. I feel like he could have used another year. I feel like but you have to consider injury. I mean, you're right. The bottom line is a lot of stuff happened that you didn't expect to happen.
Yeah. You lose 2 big guys.
Yeah,
you lose Zach Kent. I don't know how well he would have done, but he's an extra big body.
Yeah.
Derek Walker, DJ Burns, you lost all 3 of those guys this year that you didn't really think you're going to lose. And then you don't get Urosh eligible like you thought you would. So there's just some unfortunate events, and now here we are playing. We're young, we're unexperienced, we're uncomfortable, and it's just hard. It's just hard to watch, and it's going to take time for them to, get that chemistry together. But unfortunately, you're in the middle of the season. Like, you don't really have time to fix that.
No, and I mean, I'm not. I thought we'd figure the shooting out. Obviously, Lamonte was his shoulder. He wasn't going to get it figured out. I thought maybe Bowden would. I thought at this point, Josiah Jordan-James may figure something out, which he's starting to come around.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have a great game yesterday, but Prior to that, he's had a couple decent games.
He's just so like gifted as an athlete that, especially against Wisconsin, when
he's got to be selfish at times.
Yeah, he just got to like be a basketball player.
He's got to be selfish at times. I mean, again,
be better than the guy guarding you.
Right. He's the thing about him too is he hadn't played a lot of college basketball prior to the season starting. So I think we should only expect him to get better throughout the.
Yeah, I mean,
because he didn't participate in practice much in the fall, so I think we should expect him to hope he should get better throughout the season. Mm-hmm. Surely he hadn't plateaued.
We're gonna need more from him.
Yeah, and it's gonna be trial by fire for sure, but we're gonna need more from him. And then Pons, he's got to find whatever magic he had in the first couple games.
Yep.
Whatever it was.
Just with Josiah James, he's bringing the ball up the court. The guy guarding him is smaller than him. He should be able to body, because he's a bigger guard anyway. He should be able to body, especially a guard from Wisconsin. I think the only guards that maybe his size would be, LSU, Kentucky. Good teams like that, not Wisconsin. I mean, they should never. He should not be held 1 for 6 from the field. He should be able to go to the hole. They held him to 4 points.
Yeah, that's the big thing with this whole team. But now it's going to be rely heavily on Josiah Jordan James is getting to the hole. Until our ability to get to the hole improves. I mean,
tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be some ugly basketball. We'll talk about Saturday against LSU on Wednesday, or I guess a Wednesday show. Yeah, and I don't expect it to be very pretty on Saturday. We'll be there.
Yep.
Don't expect it to be pretty.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Definitely does.
But I mean, I don't know like where, because we're bad in like every facet of the game, so I just don't understand where. I don't know what you do to improve it, like in this amount of time. It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be very.
Hey,
rough.
we got next year though. Next year's gonna be fun. We're all in for next year, right? That's our year.
I don't know. I'm not committed to it till we get big men, and I haven't seen Urosh play ever. I mean, his body would be nice. Having a 7-footer would be nice.
I mean, just a guy that can get some rebounds.
But I mean, our lack of production in the paint, both on the boards and scoring, is terrifying.
Yep,
it's terrifying.
Yep.
So, I'm not all in on next year yet. I want to see us go out and get a 7-footer.
I mean, I think we'll be able to score next year.
We should be able to. If we don't, we're in trouble.
Right.
I mean, Jaden Springer looks like he could score 30 a night right now.
Keon Johnson was.
Well, I guess maybe not right now, but wait, is it Keon Johnson's the one out right now? Right.
Yeah, he was at the game on Saturday.
Was he?
Yeah, in a knee brace.
Gotcha.
I'm glad they're already signed.
Yeah,
that would.
Yeah, no.
We'd be sweating it out right now.
Yeah, no. Rick Barnes did a good job of locking them in early. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for that early signing period for all the spring sports.
Right. You ready to go to the all-decade team?
Let's
maybe talk on a happier note here.
Yeah, let's change the mood a little bit.
All right, we're gonna do our all-decade team. We'll start with offense, I guess.
All right, yeah.
The main position.
You just want to bounce?
Yeah, let's just go through position. We'll go quarterback first. I feel like the obvious choice. I feel like a lot of these are obvious, and then there's some really difficult ones.
Yeah.
But I feel like the obvious choice is Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I think, talent-wise, maybe just as like a quarterback, you could maybe go Tyler Bray, but as like a leader and just like an all-around athlete, you got to go Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, and when we were talking about, I was talking about it with my brother, just like that we're going to do this tonight, and he said, but you also, Tyler Bray's stats were good, but look at where he put up a lot of those numbers on against bad teams. Troy, Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's where a bulk of the stats. And then the other part is, with Josh Dobbs, this not only his stats impressive, what he did for the program, he won.
Yeah.
We talked about how big it is to be a winner, and he won.
With a loser as a coach.
He should have won more, but I'm not going to blame it on him.
Yeah, with the loser as a coach, which I guess Tyler Bray did too. But
Yep. Running back. I'll let you go. We got two running backs.
Two running backs. I think the obvious is Alvin Kamara.
And I'm also going to, I don't know if you have any stats written down or not, but tomorrow you'll need to send it to me. I'm going to put ours in an article with stats and
cool.
Awards.
Cool.
Because Alvin Kamara, I was like, man, I really need to look at Kamara's because we've had some good running backs which it was surprising to see.
Yeah.
But we've had some good running backs in the last 10 years. So I was like, I really need to double check before I put Alvin Kamara down. I know what he did for the program, but unfortunately, because of who he played next to, his production was lower. And again, who coached?
So I didn't put Jalen Hurd. I feel like he is one of the better backs.
See, that's who I went. That was my other one. That backfield, Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara are my two all decade.
I didn't pick Jalen Hurd just because he didn't finish here. And I like John Kelly. So John Kelly's my second one just because I think he was the best player on a terrible team, and at one point, after that Florida game, people were talking about him as a Heisman candidate. I mean, he would probably never win, but I mean, just the fact that he was even mentioned in the Heisman race at one point.
Right.
I think John Kelly, I would like to see him have a couple more years at Tennessee and see what his production could have been.
Yeah, I mean, John Kelly definitely, he's one of those guys that fell behind. Similar to kind of Kamara had to play next to Hurd, kind of fell behind some guys and only had one real year to be a premier back.
Right.
But
he could have came back, but didn't. But
do what now?
He could have came back another year, but decided to get to the league, which, whatever, get paid.
Right. Wide receiver. And this is the one that I was like, similar to running back, very difficult because we've had some very good wide receivers on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
And, but my first one's Cordell Patterson. You can't deny what he did. Not only as a receiver, but in terms of just being a flat-out athlete on the field. Rushing, all-purpose yards, rushing, returning, and then obviously at wideout. And again, probably a guy that if you look at a lot of his stats, they might rack up against some bad teams, but he did it against some really good teams too.
Yeah,
so.
For sure.
Who's your first wide receiver?
Mine is Justin Hunter. Okay. So the tandem, Cordero Patterson and Justin Hunter. And I think a lot of Tyler Bray was a good quarterback. I'm not taking anything from him, but he also had some athletes to freaking work with.
Yeah, I feel like Justin Hunter, Derek Rogers, and Cordell Patterson all could have found their way on this list.
Yeah.
Potentially. So.
Right.
Excuse me. My second one is the obvious one, I think, is Juwan Jennings.
Yep.
The one that his stats have been impressive, and then also, again, kind of similar to the Josh Dobbs thing, what he's done for this program in good years, 2016, and then in the bad years, 17 and 18. Because 17 didn't really do much. That was the bad year for him. But, he responded well from that year and then decided to return and kind of help hopefully start something positive at UT.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's been a game changer for this new rebuild kind of since Pruitt took over. He's kind of led the charge in getting this program back on the map.
Right.
So yeah, I would go. I have the exact same ones as you: Justin Hunter, Cordell Patterson, and Juwan Jennings.
Okay, so Cordell Patterson's your third.
Yep.
So I looked at stats and then I kind of I guess threw him a bone here too, because he's not going to get on my returner list, even though he could lobby a position there. But Marquez Callaway.
Okay.
I think the reason, like, for example, I chose him over Justin Hunter was just what athlete, because that was the two guys it boiled down to for me, was Justin Hunter, Marquez Callaway, and for Callaway it was just who's the better athlete for me, and that's definitely Marquez Callaway. That dude's a freak. I feel like I wish with Juwan Jennings, Marquez Callaway, and now Josh Palmer, and then the guys we've had in the past couple years. God, I wish we had a quarterback.
Yeah.
I wish we had a quarterback.
And you could add, and like you said, you could add Justin Hunter. I could have added Callaway. I could have added Josh Malone. There's a ton of wide receivers. There was a reason why people were calling us wide receiver U at one point.
Yeah. Tight end.
I
want Michael Rivera.
I did too.
I feel like that's the Ethan Wolf maybe could have had a say in terms of stats, but Michael Rivera, that dude was a monster, especially in 2012.
Yeah, and had a decent career in the NFL for a while.
Yeah. Offensive line, I don't know if you did it by position, like specific position. I did.
I just did
Did
five.
five best. I probably should have done that, just because of center.
Yeah, center was
Brandon Kennedy kind of got it by default. I feel like he's been the best center, but that because I did it by position. I feel like he got it by default. Kind of due to there not being much of a center. So,
So yeah, I have Tiny Richardson on there as well. I think he was a 2-time All SEC performer. So I think a lot of guys in that. We had a good offensive line at that point.
No, yeah, 3 of the guys, probably 4 or 5, probably would have been Tiny Richardson that gets it over Brandon Kennedy for me. So if it's not for me going by position, 4 of those guys from that offensive line that was here with Bray would have gotten it, but Brandon Kennedy got that one. My next one from that right tackle is Juwan James.
Yeah.
An absolute monster.
Yeah, I have Juwan James as well, still in the NFL.
Yeah, and then I've got Zach Fulton also from that time period.
Same.
Dallas Thomas.
Yep.
And then Trey Smith.
Yep, obviously. I think Trey Smith is probably...
He could have fit... I probably could have put Tiny Richardson in and thrown Trey Smith at center. I'm very confident he could play that position if he was asked
absolutely.
to.
He's like the most dominant... I think Juwan James and Zach Fulton obviously had good careers. They are still having good careers in the NFL. But I think Trey Smith, when you look at all around just like tenacity and just like a nasty offensive lineman, Trey Smith is your guy 100%.
Oh, yeah. All right, we can flip to the defensive side of the ball. This one is kind of difficult, too. I don't think we've been known for... We've got a ton of guys that are like, had some good years, but at very few positions.
Yeah. This is kind of weird because the offense we run is different. But I kind of just had like 4... Like we were running kind of a base defense.
Yeah, I did that, but I gave us 4 linebackers, obviously. So I guess do it now.
Kind of play with.
Yeah. But we can start on the defensive line. I've got a guy that I think was underrated just because of who he played next or with, and that was Corey Vereen.
Yeah. I don't have him. I actually have Darrell Taylor. I think he has 18 sacks in his career. And that's why I kind of gave him the nod over Corey Vereen, which probably isn't that fair because, like you said, of who he played next to. But I think Darrell Taylor is, this WGWTFA. That's always going to be in the minds of Tennessee fans from now on. So I go with Darrell Taylor.
Okay, and then I've got at the opposite end is Derek Barnett. Freak. I mean, it was hilarious. Like double. I went through and checked all the stats. I mean, it's some of the stats he had are some seasons were hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, unreal. Like it blows my mind that it took him. And it shows how good of a history Tennessee has, and then how good Reggie White was. That it's mind blowing that it took him 4 years, and how many bowl games would that be? I think 3. So 13 game seasons, a couple of 13 game seasons to beat his all-time sack record.
Yeah,
I mean because it's insane.
It only took him 3 years. Yep.
Oh no. I mean it took him all 4 technically. Or he stayed for senior, didn't he?
No,
he left. Okay,
yep,
so it took him 3 years. So yeah, but it's insane.
And he's probably one that makes the list. Like if we're doing an all-time Tennessee team, he probably makes the list.
Yeah, probably.
Ooh,
I thought you got in there. I don't know.
So my next one is Malik Jackson. Just a huge, massive individual who also have had a good career in the NFL. So Malik.
I got Malik Jackson as well.
I'm also going to go kind of a guy who's underrated, and I feel like he only had one productive year. But I thought it was, good enough to make this list as an interior defensive lineman, and that's Kyle Phillips.
Yeah.
I wish he would have had maybe another year in this defense to kind of see exactly what he could do. But he's with the Jets, and he's playing a ton. Him and Shot Tuttle are, that's just unfortunate of how things played out at Tennessee.
Yeah. And there's not a ton. We haven't had a ton of good interior linemen. These last 10 years that we've really struggled at that position. Somehow done really well at that end,
right?
Having ends on this team, and I don't know where the interior lineman got lost. We had a couple guys that, Shot Tuttle I think plays better if he's healthy. You would think. I mean, you mentioned what he's doing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then you talk about guys like Khalil McKenzie who were what was he in the class? He was. I mean, he's one
like-
of the top
a
prospects.
5-star.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the top prospects we've ever
Yeah.
signed, and just should have been good
Probably
for
like
us.
top 10.
and probably, that second year had a decent year, but kind of started falling off towards the end. That could have been due to injury as well and wear and tear, but just never really had what it took. And it is what it is. I threw Darryl Taylor in here because I didn't think we had any other interior linemen who deserved it. So you had three ends essentially.
Yeah. So my last one was Derek Barnett. So Derek Barnett, Darryl Taylor, Malik Jackson, Kyle Phillips were my defensive linemen.
No, I cheated on the linebackers too. I kind of just did the 4 best linebackers. I started out outside.
Oh, I
the
did
middle,
too.
and I kind of gave up on that. My first line, because I was like, this guy deserves
I
it over
think
this
our
guy
4
for
is
sure.
probably going to be exactly the same.
Yeah. Kurt Magid,
Kermit.
Alexander Johnson,
Yep.
Jalen Reese-Maben,
Yep.
and Daniel Batuti.
Yep.
I
Exactly
mean,
right.
these guys are obvious in what they've done to this for this program and for that. That linebacking group. I feel like I hope we can get to the point, and Pruitt, I believe, will do it, where we're recruiting consistently good at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
When you look across the board, there are a lot of good guys who played here, and there's some years where it fell off. But you always have that one core guy. Hopefully, we can get 2 or 3 really core guys in there each year because, Kurt Magid, Jalen Reese-Maben, and Alexander Johnson all should have been on the team at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you can replicate linebacking groups like that, you'll be fine.
Oh, exactly.
You'll be
and
fine.
dreads make you better, right?
Oh, 100%.
But I think I like what you said about recruiting linebackers because I feel like we've done a decent job at that. Just you lost a lot of production just that transferred out this year, but you had Henry To'o who came in and was basically a day one starter. So I feel like he could kind of fill that void with Daniel Batuli. Now you're going to have somebody beside him. Is that Crouch? Is that Bryson Easton, Martavius French? Who's it going to be? But I feel like we've done a pretty good job in the last couple of years of recruiting at that position.
Absolutely, and hopefully it continues. I'd like to see it continue. Cornerback, again, kind of struggled who to put here. The first one was easy. Cam Sutton.
Yeah.
The first one was very easy. A guy who had an impact, feels like the entire time he was here. And just a 3-star, an underrated guy in high school.
Yeah.
And coming out. Who'd you have the other one?
I have Rashawn Galton.
Okay. I guess he could have played corner.
Yeah,
I should have.
He played like that
in there.
star, kind of that nickel kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was good enough to play either that or safety, so I put him at corner.
He definitely made plenty of impacts in the secondary that should be mentioned. I'm gonna have to go with Rashawn Galton too.
Yeah.
I was looking at corner and I was like, I don't know of anyone who deserves it. I'm gonna put money on Bryce Thompson because of the impact he made in year 1. But I'll definitely go with Rashawn Galton since we're doing.
Yeah,
that.
I think Bryce Thompson would probably be my next one.
And he may be a guy that's on the 2020 decade list, the next decade list.
Yeah,
he could be very easily.
for sure. Safeties.
My first one, I don't know, how you feel about him, and it's more the impact he made in his first 2 years. Don't know what happened after those first 2 years, but I think in those early years, the impact, was felt very hard. He was a ball hawk, and that's Todd Kelly Jr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seemed to always be in the right place at the right time. I actually don't have him on my list. I have Brian Randolph as my first one. A guy we've actually had on the show before. I just feel like he was a leader kind of on and off the field as well, so that's kind of why I put him in that list.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my next one earned it all this year and really in the final 5 games, and that's Nigel Warrior.
Yep, I have him as well.
I think if you look at this 5-game stretch, it could be very, very, very pivotal to Jeremy Pruitt's foundation in this program.
Yeah.
To end this season the way they did, and the schedule is favorable, but you have to go out and win the games you're supposed to win. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple tough ones in there, and you battled injury. Your starting quarterback played with a broken hand. You had some wide receivers here and there out. You had guys. Was Batuli suspended for the first half of the South Carolina game? You had guys out for suspension. I mean, you had a lot of. It wasn't necessarily the easiest thing, and you finished it strong, and a lot of that's due to Nigel Warrior, and that's why I think he earned his name on this decade list in the last 5 games of the season.
Yeah, him just emerging as a leader just this past year has been kind of awesome to see. If you're recruiting, you have any questions about the staff or coming to Tennessee, if you have any doubt about it, go talk to Nigel Warrior and he'll tell you exactly why.
Yeah.
He stayed and believes in this coaching staff and believes in the direction where this program's headed.
Right. Absolutely. Moving into the special teams.
Kicker.
Marissa Maglia.
Oh,
Best percentage.
Easy.
Best percentage from 50 plus. It's not even a question. And Michael Pilardi, if he changes whatever he changed from Dooley to Butch Jones, probably gets a name on here. I think he should get honorable mention just because of what he did his senior year in the punting game and kicking game. He handled both or all three duties: punting, kickoff, and field goal, and handled them real well. But yeah, overall, Brinson Maglia has been much better.
Yeah.
And then punter, feel like Trevor Daniels, obvious.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, he's just a freak athlete.
It's insane, like, how well Joe Doyle punted last year. I don't know what's happened this year in that regard. I don't know if it's just the consistency of not finding one punter. Paxton and Joe Doyle both had opportunities. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what's happened there, but it's struggled. But, I mean, even the drop-off, Joe Doyle played well last year, and even the drop-off after losing Trevor Daniel was very obvious.
When Trevor Daniel dunked a basketball, I knew he was going to be on my list for that.
That man can jump.
Kick returner.
Evan Berry.
Easy.
I feel bad for Callaway.
So I did a punt returner too, and I have Marquez Callaway.
I thought about texting you and see if you want to change that because I was like, Callaway's got to get on my list. I thought he fit there at wide receiver, so I didn't text you. But yeah, punt returner, kick returner. I mean, Evan Berry could be both, but yeah, Marquez Callaway deserves punt returner too.
I thought Cam Sutton could be on there. Patterson could be on that list as well.
Patterson could be returner. Probably would be if there were better wide receivers than him.
Right. Yep.
More so than Evan Berry. So Patterson's ability to affect the game in any position is absolutely incredible. And, I mean, it's why he's on an NFL roster. Everybody said he's not a great route runner coming out of college, and the reason he's on an NFL roster is because of his ability to impact.
Just makes plays.
Yeah, just makes plays. We ready to get into? I guess we'll go ahead and go to the college football. Before we do that, though, I've got some people to tell you about.
And we're good whenever.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, so we can go ahead and jump in that if you want to.
All right, well, let me do this ad real quick for 865 Axe Throwing. It is a one-of-a-kind experience. It's perfect for date nights, birthdays, anniversaries, friends night out, wedding parties, corporate team building events. 865 Axe Throwing, where locals hang out. They're the first axe throwing range in Knox County and the only outdoor range in the area. They have a friendly and knowledgeable axe coaches that can teach anyone how to throw confidently and safely. Once you stick your first axe, you will be hooked. It's located only 15 minutes from downtown, and their atmosphere can't be beat. Throw axes, play cornhole, tabletop checkers, mega Jenga, or just hang out by the fire. They are family-friendly farm fun. Guys, go check them out. Also, right now, 865 Axe Throwing for the winter months has $30 Thursdays. So if you go on Thursday, you can throw for two for $30. Go do that right now. If you aren't there on Thursday, though, I can still help you out. Use the promo code More Important Issues at check-in for $5 off. It's promo code More Important Issues at check-in. Go check out 865 Axe Throwing. Guys, we're going to go to a short break real quick and get Aaron Hayden on to talk about some high school football in the state of Tennessee, and we'll be right back.
We welcome onto the show former Vol running back Aaron Hayden. Aaron, did you and your family have a great Christmas?
We had a really good Christmas, great Christmas. Everybody at home. Hadn't had that in a couple of years, so we having a very good Christmas. How about you?
That's awesome. Yeah, me and Caleb were kind of talking about the older we get, the more clothes we get, obviously, but also we kind of appreciate Christmas for the the family atmosphere, and not much the presents anymore. That's just the older we get, the more we appreciate it for the right stuff.
Yeah, I think you open your eyes up a little bit more as you get older.
Yeah,
you appreciate the moment.
Definitely. So, bowl season is here. Tennessee is already in Jacksonville. So, what's your thoughts on the Vols going bowling?
I think it's a great season. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great foundation, and I actually think it's a great opponent for us. So, I think we'll keep this momentum going. I think we got a great draw. Glad to see we're back in the Florida bowl game, and I'm just excited about the future of Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're talking about the future and, with the slow start this season, what do you think was the big turnaround for this team this season?
I think the Georgia game, for me, when Coach called timeout right in the red zone, right when he got the penalty, right when Georgia was going in and scoring the red zone, It just seems like after that the team just started fighting, and from that point on they took on his personality when he probably almost got kicked out of the game. I think after that, the team just took on his personality and became a blue-collar, feisty, us against the world, type of mentality. And it started with the guys up front. It just seemed like at that point they started playing a lot different on both sides of the ball and just selling out and being a real aggressive group of football players and really, your lunch pail, bring your lunch pail and your hard hat type guys like we had, back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you talk about that fight and that grit and, just the Memphis area. That's what you think about when you think of those players out of Memphis. Your son, Dallin, is a 2022 recruit at Christian Brothers. Tennessee, had a ton of success in recruiting this year in that Memphis area. What do you think they need to do to continue that success in that area?
I think what Coach Johnson did a real good job of networking here with the coaches here and finding out, the small details that you really need to do to really get to know, who the decision makers are, what the pressure points are for the recruits. And he did a really good job of just really connecting where the previous staffs, they come in last minute and try to grab a guy like Maurice Hampton, but LSU and Alabama have formed relationships with him and his coaches and his family for 2 or 3 years. And a guy blows up and people are talking about you for not getting the guy in your home state. And then all of a sudden you want to come in and try to get him. And what Coach Johnson did is with all those guys is early on when he got there was to establish relationships with the coaches, the players, their families. And he just basically put a bow on it at the end of December by getting those kids to sign. I mean, I know just being around here, he's been here and spent a lot of time here. So has Coach Pruitt, so has Coach Ainsley. A lot of guys have spent a lot of time here reestablishing those connections and networking in this area. And I just hope that they continue to do it. And the other thing is this was a year where West Tennessee, and I would say Memphis in particular, has some really special guys here that could play as well.
Right. Yeah, and one of those guys that kind of were on late, but, Dave Johnson did a great job of establishing that relationship was Jabari Small, a guy that, didn't really think we would, be a take, earlier in the year. But he had a great senior season and just having that relationships in there, as soon as Tennessee kind of got really heavy in his recruitment, it seemed to just click.
Yeah, I would say Coach Johnson did that. I know for a fact he did that with some other players as well that may have not been takes early on and wasn't rated real high, but just played their way into being really good players as seniors. And because he had established relationships with those guys their junior year, when other people wasn't talking to him, he was able to pull them through when, Tennessee realized that they were takes or people that, they had a spot for them or a place for them to play. He did that with several guys, and that had a lot to do with why he ended up getting some other guys as well.
Yeah.
So he's done his homework, and I think that's, if you had asked me what's Coach Johnson's strength, is that he does do that. He's in constant contact with these guys, even if they're not guys that are initial takes, he still treats them and communicates with them like they're, priority number one.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's priority number one needs to be in this offseason is pay that man whatever he wants. But you saw a ton of good teams, this season. Teams like Montgomery Bell Academy, MUS, McCauley. Who were some of the most talented players that you saw this past high school season?
I would say I've been coaching up here for a while and been around, high school football because of Chase for a while. And I would have to say Jay Hardy's the best football player I've at least coached against or saw live on the field. And then I would say Brian Eason is probably number two. Not probably, but he is number two. When I watched him play against Houston in the playoff game, and just to watch his range as a linebacker from sideline to sideline at 270, the way that he can move and accelerate through the ball. He's always going forward, making tackles. He just does some things that, to be honest with you, I was kind of sitting there thinking, how is this guy not going to Alabama or Auburn? Like, it seems like he's that type of linebacker. So I'm ecstatic that he's actually coming up to Knoxville and will be playing for us. And I think he's one that'll play early just because of what he can do.
Yeah, and that's been a depth issue at that position anyway. And for him to be, he's listed at like 270, but he doesn't run or move like he's 270 pounds.
He doesn't.
But when he hits you, it looks like a 270-pound kid hits you.
That's when I was talking to Coach Pruitt. We were just talking about the guys around here, after they signed, and the thing that I, mentioned, I was like, he's a thumper. That's there's one thing to be a guy that can get there and make tackles, but there's a few special guys in the SEC that are thumpers. When they get there with a bad attitude, and that they were there. I think he'll be one of those guys.
Right, and you talked about some of the guys in the state of Tennessee that have really impressed you. As a whole, this state just seems like every year there's more and more talent come out of it. I think I saw last night in the Ohio State-Clemson game there were 4 Mr. Football winners playing on either Ohio State or Clemson's roster. With how much the state of Tennessee improving it, it's really, really important for the Vols to try to recruit better in the state, especially Memphis. How do you feel this year has to be a stepping stone in the right direction? Do you feel the energy around Memphis kind of trending towards the Vols, or is it still very neutral in the SEC?
I think anytime Tennessee's winning, of course, that it's going to be a positive trend towards the Vols. And I think that's the most important thing, is that they continue to win. They continue to win big games. I think when they have their Georgia, Alabama, or Florida games at home, you got to get the West Tennessee, Memphis kids up there so that they can see what that atmosphere is about. I tell people all the time, I'm a kid from Detroit that came to Knoxville. If you can get somebody on campus, it's a hard deal not to be able to close that one if you can get talented kids on campus, because there's just so much that's impressive about the stadium, the facilities, the atmosphere, the history. Like, if you can get a kid on campus, why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? The pro lineage. I mean, there's so much to offer if you can get a guy on campus, but a lot of kids, because we hadn't been dominant like we were when I was there, they don't know much about the dominance, so they don't even visit campus. But if you can get them on campus with that staff and our tradition, I just think it's a hard deal not to be able to close the deal. I mean, look at what they did with the kids from Memphis this year. They all came up there for the Georgia game and I think the South Carolina game, and that's when everybody started to commit, and their thought process about Tennessee changed, because with the right players, we are, the Alabamas and Georgias and Floridas, with the right players. It wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean?
Right, and, you could probably put it together like a top 20 class just with the talent in Tennessee this year. There seems to be a drastic increase in just the talent level in this state. What do you think is the biggest reason for that?
Well, I think one thing, if you look at the private school division right now, the big private school division, I mean, you got players with offers from Georgia and Alabama and any and everybody, Ohio State. I mean, I think that private school division is so solid right now. And then if you look at like the 6A schools, Whitehaven and the Marivolds and the Ravenwoods and Oakland and schools like that, I mean, the talent level, as far as like it used to be when I was coming through, the Bubba Millers, Joe Smith, Jason Lehman, you got your linemen from the state of Tennessee, and they went on to be All-Americans and pros, but you had to go get your skills from other places.
Right.
Well, now you look at the Keyshawn Lawrence kids, and a lot of kids, Jabari Smalls, the kids that are playing, private school ball. They're super talented. I can remember, Ty Chandler, watching Ty Chandler, play. Back in the day, Brentwood Academy probably didn't have the star player running back. They had linemen and tight ends and DNs and stuff like that went to Tennessee, but the Ty Chandlers wasn't there. But you get in this class, you got Corderia Richardson, you had Ty Chandler, you had Jacoby Stevens was an athlete. Nobody really know what he played. You look at the kids at Clemson, Higgins, and Rogers, and I mean you can just keep going with all these talented skill players. So I just think the focus with 7-on-7 and a lot of these guys switching from basketball to football, like Keyshawn Lawrence, like my son Chase, switching from basketball to football. I think you're getting a lot of the elite athletes in the state to actually play football. And I think that has a lot to do with it. And 7-on-7 is so organized, and these kids are starting to get to camp. And you have to think a lot of these organizations that have gotten these guys out there early, these 7-on-7 teams and some of these training camps and coaches, they're getting a lot of kids exposure. And the other thing is, Tennessee's getting out there and finding out who these guys are. Like I said, this staff that's up there now is doing a really, really good job of putting a footprint on networking and knowing the high school coaches and the 7-on-7 coaches. So they're knowing about kids when they're in the 8th grade. They're offering kids in the 8th grade that are, turning into beasts by the time they're juniors or seniors and making decisions to go to college.
Yeah, absolutely. And, your son seems to be trending in that direction. Already has offers from Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas. I think Duke was in there as well. So kind of what's that like? You went through it with Chase. Now he's at Arkansas. And, what's it like having another son kind of getting those same SEC offers?
I think I've learned a lot more with Chase. We were kind of learning together, and I was dependent on, a lot of contacts that I had and, people up there, Brett Hubbs and just different people that I knew, Terry Fair, people that were in the game, right now. Because when I came through, the age of Western Union and VCR tapes, and actual word of mouth probably got you recruited. Whereas, now it's about going to camp. I remember one of the guys telling me, if you want offers, you go to college camps and camp. If you want to be rated, you got to go to the combine camps. And so, I learned that. And then with Dallin, I even learned that if you play 7-on-7, you can kind of get your name out there early. Yeah. Especially if you just kind of look the part and you got the skill set, which he does. He's, tremendously athletic and talented, and he has a great body. Chase was a little smaller, but Dallin's going to be, he's going to be built like me. So you see that early on. He was ripped as an 8th grader. He looked like he was, 16, 17 years old. And that's part of it now. Everybody's trying to beat everybody to the dance. So, yeah. Tennessee, pulled the trigger on him in the 8th grade, and then, by 9th grade, Georgia and, different schools were, pulling the trigger on him. And then, he's a track kid as well. And he's extremely fast, so that doesn't hurt, as well. So
right.
It's just a matter of getting the kids out there and getting them exposure. And then, like I'm telling him right now, we're working because you want to be able to make those offers, committable offers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be potential. That potential will get plenty of people in trouble. So it's just a matter of putting the work in to validate, what people think you should be, and hopefully we'll pass that.
Yeah, and so we're super excited to kind of see where his recruitment goes. We saw the Chase stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't fall in Tennessee's favor, but it seems to have kind of worked out for Chase. But as Tennessee's program, it seems like we've kind of, especially with this win streak, it seems like the program, you can kind of see where it's headed. What are your kind of thoughts on where the program is headed? You seem to like the staff. So where do you kind of see the program headed?
Well, I think it starts with the head man, AD. I think it starts with Coach Former bringing former players back into the fold, having people excited about just Tennessee sports in general, and then going and hiring a football guy. I think a lot of times it's overlooked that these ADs hire these firms and they go hire these coaches, and sometimes they don't match up with the program a la Bush Jones. and Derek Dooley. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you get a football guy that's actually making football decisions, I don't think Jeremy Pruitt was a sexy pick, but Jeremy Pruitt was what we needed, and he was an SEC football coach, and that's what we needed to bring a program that was lacking of star power. We had to do it the blue collar way, and having a coach like him, I think, has been perfect. And then having the staff that he has and the recruiting relationships that he has, now we lay the foundation for being a blue collar, we'll hit you in the mouth physical football team. Now we can go out and sign some kids that like we used to have. When
Right.
Coach Former, if you think about it, is really their personality is a lot different, but it's the blueprint of what Coach Former did when we were dominant and Coach Majors did when we were dominant. He's kind of taking the same blueprint. We know with a different personality, but it's the same blueprint. In the SEC, you win the games up front, on the front, the box, the 7 on defense, and the front 5 on offense, and that's the way it works. And he seems to understand that. But there's a lot of guys that get these jobs, a la Bush Jones, and Derek Dooley didn't even sign any offensive linemen. I mean, how do you not sign offensive linemen? So he understands where you win the game, and that's where he's really put his focus, if you think about it. And the thing I like about him that I think he gets no credit for, especially in comparison to, what my other son was dealing with at Arkansas, on day one, he didn't come in and say, wait till I get my players in here. He basically said, I'm going to take these players and I'm going to make them tough, and we're going to go out and we're going to fight. And it took a minute, but then he's done everything that he said he was going to do. That's the thing I love about the guy. He didn't go and try to bring in all these grad transfers and run a whole bunch of people out. He hadn't really had a lot of people lead the team. He's had a lot of guys step into roles and play better than they've ever played up any other, under any other coaches. You look at Callaway and Juwan Jennings, I think they're a perfect example of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and you talked about the mentality that Jeremy Pruitt brings to the team, and I think everybody knows that's going to be big in this turnaround. Being around recruiting, you talked about how you've kind of had to learn the process over. How do you go and make sure you're getting guys? Obviously, you're never going to sign everybody that's on the same page. You're going to have guys transfer or leave early, but how do you go about recruiting those guys that have that blue collar, we're going to hit you in the mouth mentality? How does that happen for Jeremy Pruitt?
I mean, all you got to do is sit down and talk to Coach Pruitt for 10, 15 minutes, which I've had the privilege of doing quite a bit here lately, and all you can see is what he focuses on. He's told me a couple things, and I don't want to give away any of his secrets, but he'll go and just sit in the parking lot and watch kids come out and see who's the first kid to come out the locker room. If it's a kid that they're recruiting, and he'll watch him practice before he walk on the field to see what he's really getting. Who the kid really is before Jeremy Pruitt from Tennessee walks out there, and then the kid straightens everything up and starts practicing hard and stuff like that. So I've heard a couple stories with him like that. I mean, he's just big on doing his homework. And I mean, here recently, I won't say any names, but I know they pulled away from some kids. I know the kids like to put, they decommit and respect the decision, which I can't stand that phrase, but, he decided, 4 or 5 kids he wasn't going to take just because, there were some things that didn't sit right about him. So the thing I like about him, he's not caught up in the 4 or 5 star ratings and all the rankings and deals like that. He really, especially the top kids, he goes and spends time. I mean, it's almost like he doesn't realize he's the head coach, because I just know from his traveling, he travels and recruits and goes by himself into these high schools. And like I said, he spends, 30 minutes there before the kids even get there, checking them out and asking about them in the lunchroom and in the weight room and in the cafeteria. If they have a training room, I mean, he really does his research, and he'll say in a minute, I just got a gut feeling about that kid, good or bad, and he'll react on that. I like that. He's not complicated at all. I mean,
he's very simple.
And I say that as a huge compliment. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys try to make it seem like they're doing neurosurgery or something like that, and all these statistics and feeling real good about themselves. And, I think he's one of those guys that he realizes about the Jimmy and Joes, and then it makes those X's and O's a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of straight out of Philip Former's book. I feel like he kind of learned a lot from him. You mentioned the Jimmy and Joes, like that's what Former preached on. And so, when you're able to just hire just a football guy like Jeremy Pruitt, I don't think you can actually go wrong. like you said, it wasn't a sexy hire, but just going with a football guy, it was something that Tennessee needed.
And I think the other thing people don't realize is this guy is born and bred and did everything at the University of Alabama if you want to say who's on the pedestal, it's the University of Alabama, and he did every role there was in the football program at a great program like that. I don't like the program, but you have to respect the program.
Right.
And so there has to be something you learn when you spent that much time and you've had the experience of doing every role in a program like that. And we're never going to be down because of our resources. We have just many resources, not more than even Alabama. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not going to be the issue. Mm-hmm. So if you have a blueprint for how to be successful with the resources that we have, with the tradition that we have, and the dude, I mean, I don't want to give away his secrets, but sometimes you may talk to him super early in the morning, and he's out recruiting, not the kids, not the staff. He's out.
Mm-hmm.
So and nobody's going to beat him out there. So he still thinks and works like a assistant coach trying to make it.
Yeah.
So if you do that and you know what you're doing, I think it's kind of hard not to be successful. And the kids respect that too. Your coaches and the kids respect it. I know I respect it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's going a long ways. Just with guys like Nigel Warrior, they see the work that this staff and Jeremy Pruitt has put in. That's kind of what changed their whole football career. Is just seeing that and just buying into a program like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just Nigel Warrior and you look at the trajectory he was on and what people probably thought about, his ability versus what he did this year. I mean, he made all SEC. You go from being a guy that people are saying, basically, can we get him off the field? I'm just saying what people were saying. We all knew he was talented. Mm-hmm. But to what he turned into, and it happened, in my opinion, after about week 3. So it wasn't like even just it was his senior year and, okay, now he's going to play. You could just see the development of that secondary from the time we lost 2 games that were most embarrassing losses, in a long time, mm-hmm. to, the end of the season, how well that secondary was playing. I mean, it has to be something with coaching,
right.
So I have to give DA and Jeremy a lot of kudos on that one for just sticking with kids. And they seem like they're trying to develop kids. And like I say, I could point to some other programs where it's just, okay, throw somebody else out there. Okay, throw somebody else out there. He didn't do it. Okay, throw somebody else out there. Okay, I'll try to recruit over him. No, it wasn't a lot of that at Tennessee. These guys, they were just letting guys play, let them take their lumps. They were coaching them up. And I think a lot of those kids, if they started at getting C grades, by the end of the year, they were getting B pluses, and a lot of them were getting A's, I guarantee you, after the games.
Yeah.
And Nigel Warrior definitely was one of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the impact he had in the last half of the season, I mean, it was a huge reason why Tennessee was able to do what they did in those final couple games. So Tennessee, you like to think a head coach is going to make a big leap in his 3rd year. A lot of people like to say this should be his breakout year. Is Tennessee ready to make that jump? I mean, I know we thankfully still have 1 game left in the season, but looking forward, can Tennessee make that jump in year 3?
I think Tennessee has to make that jump. Me personally, I look at you're going to have a really good offensive line, even if Trey Smith doesn't come back. If he comes back, it's going to be ridiculous. But you're going to have a quarterback that should be ready. We know he can make all the throws. I mean, I would assume that he has to have probably his best year that he's been there. That we're going to have some speed on the outside that we really hadn't had. I mean, those guys play extremely well, but we hadn't just had guys that, you can hand it to on reverses or bubble screens and, they go 60 like Marcus Nash or Nalo Sylvan in a long time. Mm-hmm. You got to think about the defense is going to be a veteran defense. You got to replace them at the mic and a couple more D linemen. You kind of need that edge rusher that can just go beat people one-on-one. But I think they've kind of addressed some of that in recruiting. The one position that I worry about, and, I'm hard on that position, I just worry about we still hadn't had that running back that we've had, in the past that can take it 80 or, carry it 25 times. That's the only one that I still worry about a little bit because I do think our line will be SEC level, ready to have a all SEC running back playing back there. I just, I don't know if it'll be done by committee or what, but I still don't think we have that guy like we had when I was there. Well, we had, 3 or 4 of them when I was there, but, but I still think that would be the one position that that I would say those, and that's not knocking anybody. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, we hadn't had that guy, J.K. Dobbins type, that's gonna, we can put the game in his hand, and if you give it to him 25 times, he's gonna break 4 or 5 runs. So
right.
that's what I'm looking for. But I do think it would be, if we're not trying to, think that we can win, 10 games next year, 9, 10 games, and then the year after that, we'll try to compete for the SEC East. I think they're that close. That's just me.
Yeah.
And I like the Harrison Bailey kid. I've seen him on the 707 circuit for a while, and I think he's the real deal. So now you're getting the type of guys that we had, years when we were successful. I think at the skill positions.
Right. Well, that's awesome to hear. We appreciate you coming on. We won't hold you up anymore. I hope you and your family have a wonderful New Year, an excellent 2020. Hopefully the Vols are celebrating a bowl win here in the next couple of days, and we'll have to do this again soon.
Oh, yeah, anytime, man. I think it's a great matchup. I think we match up very well with Indiana, speed-wise, size-wise, scheme-wise, and I think so. I think it'll catapult us to a great start in 2020, and I hope, we finish strong recruiting. I think we're going to make a big splash. I think we'll get some exciting news that pretty soon, I guess signing day or whatever. But
yeah.
I think we'll be a lot higher in our recruiting rankings than people think we're going to be.
Sounds good. We just need that production on the field. I guess is kind of all Jeremy Pruitt's worried about.
Oh, that's where it matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where it matters.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, I appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
And we'll do it again here in the next couple months when Tennessee's celebrating that bowl win. Okay.
All right, brother.
I
Happy New
appreciate
Year.
it. You too.
That was Vol for Life, Aaron Hayden. Great always talking to him anytime we get. Good to talk about this recruiting class that could round out, he mentioned there at the end, could round out really nicely. And then, talking about how Tennessee's doing their job now in Memphis.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
Maybe that too.
Maybe.
We have thoughts. He may have some more insight.
Yeah.
So his thoughts may be more sure than ours. But, that was always good to talk to Aaron, and we'll definitely be getting him back on here soon. We are going to do a college football recap. Before we do that, 2 things. Number 1, the Titans are going to win, and they'll be in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Did you think they'd get it done?
I didn't.
I didn't either. Something about it, I didn't believe it.
That Tana thrill, baby.
Everyone's kind of surprised. I mean, I get why some people are way more shocked than they should be. He was good in Miami, and when Miami wasn't very good, Miami's never been good.
Yeah.
Well, the last couple years. And he was good with some bad Miami teams. So,
but I didn't think he'd be that much better than Marcus Mariota.
Right. I don't know. This year, this Mariota, I'd say yes. Maybe not Mariota.
I would say the game changer is that man right there, Derrick Henry.
Dude, he's a monster.
Because he just ran a touchdown. Did you see it?
Yeah.
And now he's leading the NFL in rushing.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's nasty. Before we get into college football recap, as a true football fan, you already know, just as sure as the seasons change, Tom Brady will keep the Patriots in the game. Every weekend, our favorite gridiron warriors put their skills to the test, so why aren't you doing the same? Now is the time to get off the sidelines and get in the game with MyBookie. MyBookie is the premier place to bet on all your favorite pro and college football action every weekend. They always have the most up-to-date lines and the most props of any sports book on the planet. So if you're going to bet this season, do the smart thing and bet with MyBookie. If you're the kind of guy who likes to bet a little to win a lot, try a parlay. Pick your locks for the week, put them together in one parlay bet, and when they all come through, the rewards will be huge. Tired of watching the games from the couch with nothing to gain? MyBookie wants to get your mind off everything and back on the game. Best part is, if you join right now, MyBookie will double your first deposit. You heard that right. If you put in $1,000, they'll give you $1,000. That's double your initial deposit that you can use on all your favorite picks. Just use a promo code CHAIR to activate the offer. That's promo code CHAIR to double your cash. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. Let's look at some college football.
I actually have some recruiting news just real quick.
Have some recruiting news.
Just real quick. So 5-star offensive tackle Broderick Jones. He's a Georgia commit. Kind of has Tennessee up there as maybe a potential landing spot for him.
Yeah, I saw that today. So, you feel good about that? Are we third on that list? What was it? Georgia, Auburn, us? Are we third?
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, when he's close by in Lithonia, Georgia, he's the number 19 prospect in the country at that offensive tackle. I mean, you could never have enough offensive linemen.
No.
And I like what Aaron Hayden said. He mentioned Derek Dooley when he didn't recruit an offensive lineman. And then we had Jabari Davis on. He kind of explained, SEC games are won in the trenches.
Yeah.
So you can never have too many offensive linemen. Now, they're not credited a lot, but you can never have too many guys blocking for your playmakers.
No, absolutely not. We get a visit with him too, right?
Yeah,
he gets to visit with us.
Yeah, he'll schedule a official visit, but didn't sign early. He was committed to Georgia and did not sign early. So, I think the Sam Pittman thing was probably a big thing in his recruitment. But Tennessee put themselves in the thick of things, so we'll kind of see where that recruitment heads. But Tennessee has some signees already. They're competing this week in the All-American games. You have Dominique Bailey, who will participate in the Under Armour All-American game with Broderick Jones. So I'm sure this staff will maybe put that in his ear to kind of, hey, man, you want to come to Tennessee? And then Amari Thomas, Keyshawn Lawrence, and Will Albright will participate in San Antonio for the All-American Bowl on January 4th. Fall recruiting reports told me that Harrison Bailey will not participate. He has a small wrist injury, so nothing bad, but didn't want to risk it. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I am too. That's fine.
We need him.
Yeah, you don't need to throw for 7 touchdowns in that All-Star game.
No,
It'll be okay, sweet angel. It'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll mark you as
Rest
a 5
easy.
star in our book.
Yeah,
if that's
just rest easy.
Yeah.
Rest easy. College football.
College football, man. That was
Do you know your record?
I don't.
You're 15-6.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. You're 2 games ahead of me. I'm 13-8.
Okay, that's not bad either.
No, it's not terrible.
So which one did we lose? Who picked the Air Force?
Neither of us picked Air Force. We both picked Washington State. We did both pick Iowa confidently.
Oh yeah. I mean that USC's a dumpster fire. They're ranked, but they're a dumpster fire.
See, you missed Ohio State. You picked Ohio State.
I did pick Ohio State.
I picked Wake Forest. You picked Michigan State. I lost that one. And then we both picked Miami. And that's it. That's the only ones we missed this week after our last show.
Dude, Miami.
Sorry, Miami we'd already missed, I guess. So,
Miami's terrible.
So I missed Wake Forest. You missed. We both missed Washington State. So we both only lost 2 this week. Or since our last show.
Not bad. I'll take that.
No, 2 out of...
I'll take that.
Let's see here. 2 out of 10. 1 8 out of 10. I'll take those odds any day.
Yeah.
We do have a few more bowls coming up this week before our next episode. The bulk of the of them with the New Year's bowls. I assume we'll do probably a New Year's episode. I guess New Year's Day episode. But most of those games will have happened or will be on by the time we do it. So we'll go ahead and pick them. But starting with Monday, the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, Western Kentucky and Michigan.
I'm going to go Western Michigan.
You're going Western Michigan?
I don't have confidence in Tyson Hilton.
Don't have any confidence in Helton?
No.
I am gonna go Western Kentucky. They've had they beat UAB this year. I feel like they had a decent year for where they were at. So I'll go to Western Kentucky there. That and I got to gain some ground on you, so I'll try with a bowl that you never know.
That's fine.
The Franklin Mortgage Music City Bowl, Mississippi State, and Louisville. According to Matt Jones, should have been Tennessee. Maybe he just has bad sources.
Maybe. I'm gonna go. This one's tough.
It is tough. I'm going Louisville.
I'm gonna go Mississippi State. Okay. I don't know. Just something Mississippi State. Like I just keep thinking about the game that we played them, and they were terrible. But
and then
the ACC is just straight trash.
Louisville finished the year on besides the loss to Kentucky, a decently high note.
Yeah, and they did get blown out by Kentucky.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Mississippi State.
Next is the Red Box Bowl. Didn't know either of those things existed, the Red Box or the Bowl. Cal versus Illinois.
You don't know the Red Box?
Huh? No, I have Amazon or
I mean, I'm with you. I can't believe it still exists.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, it shouldn't exist, but it does
No,
somehow.
because it's straight trash. Every movie that you get out of there, like, skips
Right.
a million times. Ooh, this one's tough. I'm gonna go Cal.
I'm going Cal as well. And
Lovie
then in
Smith.
Sorry, what?
Lovie Smith. Isn't he the coach at
Lovie is
Illinois?
the coach of Illinois, yeah.
Yeah.
That awesome white beard. In the Capital One Orange Bowl, number 9 Florida versus number 24 Virginia.
I'm gonna go Florida.
I'm going
ACC
Florida
is trash.
as well.
It's a 14.5
Oh wow.
is the
I think I might take Virginia Tech to cover though. It's a big spread.
maybe.
Or not Virginia Tech, sorry, Virginia. And then on Tuesday, the 31st, starting with the Belt Bowl, Kentucky versus Virginia Tech. I feel like this is a really difficult one. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go Lynn Bowden Jr. ends his career at Kentucky on a high note and they win.
I think I've got to go that. He's playing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I
he
just
can-
don't see how Virginia Tech
I feel
can
like
stop
he can
him.
only increase his stock
Right.
if he plays.
I don't see how Virginia Tech can stop him.
No.
I don't see it being done. Next, I'm surprised that they are in a bowl. Honestly, it blows my mind. Is it Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
FSU versus Arizona State. So does Norvell coach the bowl? How does that work?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess I've never.
I mean, Willie Taggart is.
No, he's not. He is not coaching it. At the tune of $18 million, he
Yeah.
will not be coaching it.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Florida State just because I think them getting a good hire in Norvell. I think that kind of helps them out.
It's like playing for a new coach. You have a little bit of energy. That's why I'm going Florida State. I'm with you.
And Jaden Daniels is a freshman quarterback at Arizona State.
Yeah, let's not pretend Arizona State's good.
No.
I mean, we know what FSU is, too.
Yeah, sorry, Herm.
Yeah. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It's Navy and Kansas State.
I'm going to go the kid from Tennessee. I'm going to go Malcolm Perry and Navy.
I'm going Kansas State. I don't know if Navy's got it to get it done. And then in the Nova Home Loan Arizona Bowl, Wyoming versus Georgia State.
Georgia State.
Georgia State? You're taking Georgia State?
Yeah.
I'll take Georgia State too, just because they beat us. I need us to look a little bit better. The Valero Alamo Bowl.
I just got in a bad mood just for seeing their logo.
Hearing
on
it,
here.
yeah. Number 11, Utah versus Texas.
God, this is. I gotta go Utah.
I'm
right?
going Utah.
The line's only 7. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's not very.
I feel like Utah should kill them. I don't know. I thought they should be in the college football playoff too, but they lost.
Right. They think about how different will it look if it doesn't look different, right? No, it doesn't.
No,
Doesn't matter if Utah won
no,
because everybody else took care of business. Yeah.
no. They would have got in if they won.
Over Oklahoma?
They were 5.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
You assume.
Yes.
You assume,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
January 1st, Wednesday, January 1st, Outback Bowl, number 18 Minnesota versus number 12 Auburn.
I'll go Auburn. Minnesota just.
I'm having trouble there, man.
You think it's a trap game?
I should never know with Auburn's offense, but you're also playing a Big 12 or a Big 10 defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Auburn too, but man, I just feel like that one's really going to come back to bite me. In the Verbo Citrus Bowl, number 14 Michigan versus number 13 Alabama. I'm taking
Tua
Alabama.
Playing?
Huh?
Is Tua playing?
Surely not. Surely not.
That makes me. Ugh. I'll go Alabama just strictly off their wide receivers.
Yeah, all you have to do is throw slant routes. It'll be fun. And then in the Rose Bowl, number 6 Oregon versus number 8 Wisconsin.
I'm gonna go Oregon.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Wisconsin. I think that offense, Jonathan Taylor, is too much to bear.
I just haven't trusted Wisconsin since we
That's fair.
We picked them.
But
I just can't go with them.
They were fine when I said they might be the real deal. They won 2 more games. Then you did it and they lost. So
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine taking Wisconsin here.
Okay.
If you had picked Wisconsin, I would have gone Oregon.
Trying to gain that ground.
Yeah.
Georgia Baylor in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Georgia.
I'm gonna go Georgia.
I just know. I mean, Is just Jake Fromm just absolutely crap the bed his last game?
If it's a shootout, I think Baylor wins.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I feel like that Georgia defense.
Yeah, I think
if Oklahoma could smother the Baylor defense, I'm pretty
that's true.
Georgia's got it.
That's all we got.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Until Wednesday, we will do a New Year's show. At our normal time. It won't be anything too special.
What did you think about last night?
The games, dude.
Yeah.
It was such a fun night of college football.
Yeah, I mean the LSU, like, it was cool on one side.
Yeah, at least there were good plays being made.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, Oklahoma, like, there was 3 teams deserving. You could argue Oklahoma was deserving to, but there was 3 teams and there was kind of everybody else.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like, they're using this as an excuse of not to expand the playoff to 8, and I get that. But I mean, we should be thankful for the playoff. It'd kind of suck if we were still in the BCS system and you had to leave Ohio State or Clemson out without giving them a chance.
Yeah.
Both those teams deserve chances.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said Ohio State would win 8 out of 10 against Clemson. I don't know if it'd be 8 out of 10, but I mean, they certainly would be pretty close to 500.
They just stop. They just their offense just like.
Well, and I said it when we were sitting there talking, and Hunter said, "Who do you think wins this game?" Right around halftime, and I was like, I mean, I know Clemson will adjust well, and they'll come out in the second half prepared. I haven't watched much Ohio State football, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do. I think it just showed that I think Ohio State got outcoached.
Yeah, and there was 2 big calls in the game that I think, Sean Wade, the targeting call, that was huge because he was like one of their star players in that secondary. And he had to come out of the game. And then, what was the other call?
The fumble touchdown.
Yeah, that one.
And what sucks about the fumble touchdown that got reversed is in real time I thought it was incomplete. Then it slows down. Feel like it probably should have been a fumble. And I really think it should have stood. I don't think there was indisputable evidence to overturn it.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. I was like,
whatever the
like,
call on the field should have been.
I feel like whatever the call on the field is what should have stayed. I feel in real time, I could not believe they didn't blow the whistle. I was like, that's definitely an incompletion. Then you see the replay and you're like, he took 4 steps. He seems to have control of the ball the whole time. I don't know how they overturned it. I don't know where they got it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at the same time, Ohio State.
I mean, that's
3 times
that's
Ohio
the game.
3 times Ohio State was in the red zone and failed to score touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't deny that Clemson won the game, and it wasn't just that play.
Right, but
that was a huge that. I think Ohio State wins the game there. Like it's kind of over.
Yeah, no, there are 2 very pivotal moments in that game, and the fumble is the big one.
And I think that would have been a sack, and I think it was either second or third down. So they either had a third.
The targeting was third down.
Okay, so I mean, they have to punt the ball. They go down and score after that.
Yeah. In fairness to to that targeting call, it's been called all year. I don't know. A lot of people. I think NCAA needs to sit down and look at it. Should targeting be an immediate rejection? And I think it should be a referee discretion. The really egregious ones, like you had the egregious Oklahoma LSU one.
God.
The one where the guy was like, I definitely don't want to play anymore. How can I get ejected quickly? Yeah. And he did so. He got out of the game. And then you have the ones like against Trevor Lawrence that Trevor ducks his head. People are always going to do that when they're protecting themselves. But to the Ohio State, Wade led with the crown of his helmet.
Yeah, it's obviously targeting, but there's not much you can do.
Right. But I feel like you could
as a defender.
So I'm trying. An example of was I can't remember who it was for Kentucky. He hit Trask and got ejected. Mm-hmm. He led with his face mask. I feel like they should be able to go, all right, that's going to be a personal foul penalty, because then his next one's an ejection. So you're putting him on like a flagrant one, essentially.
Yeah. So
I feel like you should be able to go, if you're going to look at the replay, why can we not look and say what's really bad and what looks incidental?
Yeah. I mean, if they call a 15-yard penalty and did eject him, I feel like that's where the line needs to be addressed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they should be able to go in and say what was egregious and what wasn't. You get 2.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't have to be 2 targetings. If you call it a personal foul, his next personal foul ejects him.
Yeah.
So why can't I don't understand why you can't do something like that.
Because you're pretty much penalizing a team twice. It's a 15-yard penalty, and you're ejecting that player, so they have to put somebody else in who's not as good, obviously, or they would have been in the game. So you're penalizing a team twice for something that is not egregious.
Yeah, I think they should definitely go and look at how they eject players.
Yeah,
I think that should be an off-season conversation.
But yeah, I thought the games last night were good. I mean,
It was a fun night of football to watch.
You couldn't ask much more.
No, definitely not. You ready to get in some segments?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
Please hold while I get to that. Yeah, Eric Smith said, any positions posing a liability with our matchup against Indiana?
I don't see any.
Yeah, I don't really see any either. I feel like the only thing that could like cause us to lose this game is quarterback play.
Right.
And I don't think it's anything Indiana could do. I think it's just us. If we win the game, we win the game because we're better than that team. If we lose the game, it's because we beat ourselves.
Right.
So, yeah, that's our only question.
You ready to get in some segments?
Yeah.
Will you talking about our friends at Blue Chew real quick?
I will. I was not prepared again.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So Blue Chew. Remember the days when you're always ready to go. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color, brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, on a full or empty stomach, and since they are chewable, they work up twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises, pun intended. Most guys talk a good game, but Blue Chew helps you follow through. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor visits, no waiting in a pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the US of A, baby, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, you can get a special deal. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment for free using the promo code ARMCHAIR. Again, that's promo code ARMCHAIR. Just pay the $5 shipping and get your first shipment for free. They're cheaper, faster, better. Go check them out. Get it done.
Go use Blue Chew.
Never know when that opportunity is going to arise. Never know.
Most important of the week.
Most important.
I've got a few. My first one. Let's see here. The boss. So he's hoisting. I don't know how you'd say it. Hoisting,
okay.
Pulling up the 12th man flag
Yeah.
in Seattle. And an account that I guess it was the Seahawks official account tweeted that he was doing it, and someone responded and said, I was a young mother working a job in retail when Boz was playing for Seattle. He came to my checkout line one day and was extremely rude. He actually said, do you know who I am? I didn't at the time, but I will never cheer for the Seahawks because of that, or cheer for Brian Bosworth. And he responded to it and said, so sorry that our interaction was unpleasant. When I was young, back then, I tended to be all about me and nothing about him. Standing alone is being in darkness, being close to him. Life is very bright and full of grace. So our next interaction will be much brighter. I just feel like that's really positive. I feel like it should be noted. He's changed, and anybody that's willing to admit when they were wrong or whatever, it's always going to be, pretty stand up in my book. And then to also tweet it out too, acknowledging that you were a jerk at one point, and now you've changed.
That takes a lot to do that. My first one is Joe Burrow was responsible for as many touchdowns at Mercedes-Benz Stadium as Matt Ryan has all season.
Oh, that should be a split fail and.
Yeah, it's a fail on Matt Ryan, but dude, Joe Burrow is a freak.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Just an absolute freak.
I mean, it's insane that he won the Heisman. It's insane that this team, and a lot of people are talking about how someone tweeted today that the LSU would if they had to play elite defenses, and I think we were talking about the strength of schedule. They had to play Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, Georgia.
Yeah,
did I say Georgia already?
Yeah, you said Georgia.
Okay, so 4 elite defenses,
and
then they'll have to play Clemson too.
Yeah,
who's the number 2 team in the country? So, or number 3, I guess. Right? Yeah, number 3. Technically, I guess number 2. They made it. They're at least guaranteed the top 2 spot in the country.
Yeah.
So
I have. So it's a tweet, and it's funny tweet, and so this one's my most important. He says it's Roger Sherman. He says this man just scored a touchdown. It's a picture of a lineman for Michigan State. I don't know if you saw the big man touchdown.
I did, yes. Yeah.
He scored a touchdown in the Pinstripe Bowl and received a penalty for excessive celebration, presumably for having facial hair in Yankee Stadium. I just thought that was funny because it's like a big bearded man.
Oh, yeah. Like your classic offensive lineman.
Yeah, and definitely, if you know Yankees tradition, they do not let you have facial hair. So, yeah, it was funny. I liked it.
I've got, this is a tweet from Rick Merritt. He's the one I asked Aaron Hayden about this. There will be 4 Mr. Football winners from the state of Tennessee playing in the national championship, and they were all from the same year. And then there's a 5th one, LSU freshman Maurice Hampton, who will also be playing. So there's 5 total, 4 from 1 year.
I'll tell you one thing. Maurice Hampton, if y'all don't know about him, he is an absolute freak who played last night as a true freshman on the number 1 team in the country and will probably start for LSU's baseball team and be a top pick when he comes out of college.
It's insane.
I don't know which one he's going to pick. I mean, it seems like he has a future in both.
He has choices.
Yeah. So, that man's a freak. I wish we could have got somebody like Maurice Hampton.
Right. Then I've got a... do you have any more most important?
I do.
Okay.
James Franklin delivering a tackle after the Gatorade shower.
I saw that. He drove his hips, man. I love to see it.
Yeah. He drove his hips, and we're not big James Franklin fans just because he was at Vanderbilt, and he made them, I guess, good for Vanderbilt. But, yeah, I thought that was funny. Just drive your hips, take him to the ground.
It was a good tackle.
And, like, that kind of weird stuff like that, like, players love that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've got a split most important and fail, so I guess we can... actually, I have one more before the split one. Josh Groudon, who was I believe he's a linebacker for West Virginia. Peter Burns tweeted his Peach Bowl predictions and said LSU 45, Oklahoma 27. Josh Groudon quote tweeted it and said, "I threw a first down against OU this season. Joe's going to put up a lot more than 45. LMAO." And he was right. He was absolutely right.
That's hilarious.
Then my split one is Jameis Winston joining the 5,000 and the 30 for 30 club. The 30 for 30 club is 30 TDs and 30 interceptions.
Good for him.
And he did it with a walk-off pick 6 in overtime.
God, what is he?
First play of overtime. First play from scrimmage.
How is he still like a starting quarterback?
It's because he threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. It's insane.
I wonder what the chart says. Like, what is like... What's
playing Jameis Winston, which is funny because this is his team colors, is like going into the casino. I think he wanted $30 million a year, right? Is that his new contract? And putting $30 million on red or black, and doing that 16 times per year. That's what playing him as your starting quarterback.
So he's just like a break-even guy.
Not even. What was their record this year?
Oh, I think they're one game below. I think they're maybe they're. I don't know what they were. One game below, maybe.
So I guess you're not putting $30 million every time.
No, maybe they're 6-10.
Oh well,
I don't know.
You're putting one almost $2 million every week on Jameis Winston, red or black. Then you're leaving.
Oh, so you have no
one
clue.
time.
Yeah,
you do it 18 times per year or 16 times per year. Sorry, red or black. That's what playing with Jameis Winston's like.
Yeah. My next one is a Bear made it all the way to.
Is this the most important or fail?
I think it's most important. The fact that he made it this far and got on to Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
Yeah, I thought Jackie Moon was in town with his act. I wasn't sure what was going on.
I picture Tony Vitello just going out and just wrestling the Bear.
I don't know if he's got that in him. We'll have to ask him.
He's like, "Can you throw 90?" And the guy's like, "He's like, you have to wrestle me for it." Tony Vitello's like, "Bet." Just wrestles him.
We'll have to ask him if he actually caught the bear when we have him on. I got to fail the week.
Oh, yeah, I got some.
I hate that I'm agreeing with Jamel Hill, but this is the most Karen thing that's ever Karened. Karen Price wrote into the Baltimore Sun, "The holiday season was in full swing with high hopes for the Ravens when I read that Lamar Jackson gifted Rolexes to his offensive line. So disappointing that in an age where professional athletes are making an insane amount of money, he couldn't have donated to charities and done it in the name of his offensive line, then treated his teammates to dinner. These players can afford all their own Rolexes, so it's very discouraging that someone didn't give them a little guidance. It just flaunts the amount of money they make and don't know what to do with. Sorry, Lamar, I am not such a big fan now." Now let's break this down for Karen, though. First off, he does know what to do with the money. He bought Rolexes for his entire offensive line, so he knows what to do with the money. Secondly, couldn't he also donate the money that he took them out to dinner with to charity? Because they could also take themselves out to dinner, just like they could buy themselves Rolexes.
Yeah.
If he donates money to charity, does that offset the Rolexes? I have questions also. And then also, what did you buy your children for Christmas? Because if it was anything over than like $30, I feel like you should have donated that to charity. Did you buy your husband something? Assuming he has a job, he could buy it for himself. Why did you buy it for him? I don't know. This feels really stupid. As someone who will probably never in their life have a Rolex, it doesn't hurt me one bit.
And, like, does she not know, like, football? Like, those guys protect his life.
Pretty much.
He's risking his life, Caleb.
He's risking his life. Yeah, I was just very confused by Karen's tone in the message. Karen. I assume she's never brought her child presents.
She can't. Especially a
Donates
Rolex.
it to charity, actually.
Yeah, definitely. She should donate the kid to charity.
Everything to charity.
Mine is Jimmy Himes, the bowl of gumbo, or whatever that Shrek swamp water he had.
Dude, that was one of the worst pictures. And it went viral. I mean, it didn't get a lot of retweets because
Jamel Hill
retweet that something disgusting, but like a lot of people saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked disgusting.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
Do you have any more?
That's it. That's all I've got.
So I have one more, and it's the Iowa State kicker. His name is Connor Assalley.
Ooh, rough name.
So, and somebody posted this, and it's like butt crack, and then Ass Alley is just like a fancy way to say butt crack.
True. That's true.
That's funny. He was lined up for a kick when they posted that. I don't know if he made it or not, but that's funny. It's not really comedy. A fail. It's just like your last name's Ass Alley. Like it's a fancy.
No, that's an all-American name.
Yeah, definitely.
He probably had a rough high school. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, probably. That's all I got.
Well, guys, thank you all for listening. We will be back one more time before Tennessee takes on Indiana in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We will be also previewing the LSU game on Saturday in the New Year's episode. Before then, though, hope you guys have a great New Year's. Enjoy the rest of your time with family before we get into 2020. Yeah, our next show will be in 2020. So, see you next year.
See you next year. Just want to give a special thanks to Aaron Hayden for coming on the show. It was a good interview, good insight. We always like having him on the show. So, special shout out for that. And thanks. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.